What up, guys? How you doing? I'm Jason Heine. This is the Emulator Review, coming at you once again with a review on a game that I used to play back in the day. Mid-90s, keeping it real on that old PC MS-DOS world. You know how we do back in the day. This is Whiplash, also known as Fatal Racing in the UK there. It is a 3D stunt car racing game, is developed by Gremlin Interactive, and it is put out by Interplay. And this game is one of those games that I originally got via shareware. You remember those back in the day? So I had a disc. It came bundled with another game, but it was a shareware disc, and it gave you the whole game, the full game, except it only lets you play the first level. I got this originally on shareware and then had to purchase the whole version because I was so impressed with the game. Now, I was lucky enough to have a high-end machine, well, high-end at the time, to run this game. You really did need to have quite a powerful computer in order to run this. This game was released in 1996 in North America and 1995, a little earlier in Europe. This game supported 320 by 200 and also 640 by 480 resolution, so pretty high resolution for the time. The reason why I personally really enjoy this game is because it was a nice mix between a destruction derby type of a game, a racing simulation, and an arcade racer. It was kind of an all-in-one, and at the time, now this was 95, I was heavily into destruction derby on the PS1 right around this time, so this game really fit well with kind of the mood in the racing games that I liked at the time. It featured corkscrews and jumps and insane loop-de-loops, all sorts of really cool things in the game that you hadn't really seen in other games prior to this. Well, at least I personally hadn't. It also gave you some really cool camera angles. You had an in-car and a chase cam, as well as some pretty good music, I thought, throughout. Even the MIDI tracks, I thought they sounded pretty good. The game plays fantastic, and it does feature 3 different cups that you can race. The Gremlin Cup, the Premier Cup, and a bonus cup. Basically easy, medium, and hard. Getting on to 7 to 8 different races in each cup, which is pretty neat. One of the first games I'd seen that featured the names above each driver above their car. Now, in today's world, that's a very common thing. We see that all the time, everyone's name above their head when you're playing, whether that be racing or shooters or whatnot. But back in the mid-90s, this was something I hadn't really seen too much of at the time. Speaking of the AI, are pretty brutal, and in some cases will fight back and be pretty aggressive, which is always a good time. I love trading paint in games like these. So what I'm saying is you better bring out your driving tactic skills here, because you're going to have to play offense and defense if you want to take first. I always really enjoyed the game's smooth frame rate and stellar looking graphics. I thought the game looked amazing back in the day, and it did. Bundled with the car physics, I thought you really had a game here that encompasses all different types of genres. Like I was saying, a destruction derby type of a game, simulation racing, and arcadey, all in one. Car physics were, I think, way ahead of its time. And when you were flying through the air, it actually felt like there was weight there. When you landed, the car suspension would bounce around, the car would ricochet off walls. Yes, of course, being a little bit over the top, but still something we hadn't seen in earlier games previous. The game was easy enough to just pick up and play, but also was difficult in mastering each course and trying to get first. So there was a lot of replay value in there as well. And then later on down the road, pun totally intended, there was an enhanced 3D FX Glide version of the game released, entitled Fatal Racing 3D. It was bundled with some Voodoo graphics cards. However, you did need to own and have installed that Voodoo 1 graphics card in order for the game to function correctly. That upset quite a few people, so they did officially release a 2.0 patch that included 3D blaster support, as well as some other changes to the gameplay, like cars are now a little bit faster, and we now have serial link and modem connections for online play. Another thing to note, does the commentary sound familiar to you guys? That is Larry Supermouth Huffman, who is the voice of Supercross for so many years. Larry also has done work on another game, also done by Interplay. Can you guess? That's right, Rock and Roll Racing. This is one of those games that I kind of have in my back pocket. I bring out every once in a while. It's a little hidden gem. It doesn't do anything more than it's supposed to. It's just a good all-around fun game. And for 1995, it was on the top of my charts. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, guys.